Yes, a lot of cities in the United States have a Union Square. Manhattan's Union Square is incredibly popular. There's also Union Squares in San Francisco, DC, Seattle, and Baltimore, and I bet you could find more Union Squares in some smaller towns across the US. But this video is about Union Square in Somerville, Massachusetts, which is a city that borders Boston to the north, but is actually closer to Boston City Center than some parts of Boston itself. Here's where things can get confusing. There's technically a Union Square in the Allston neighborhood of Boston. This video, however, is talking about living in the Union Square in Somerville, Massachusetts, which, while it's not in Boston proper, does provide quick and easy access to Boston now that the Green Line of Boston's metro system, aka T, runs to Somerville's Union Square. The Green Line extension to Union Square has completely changed my perception of this neighborhood, although some long-term residents may not be happy with that changed perception. Before the Green Line had a Union Square stop, I'm not sure a Union Square video would have even made it onto this channel because I wouldn't regularly be visiting Union Square. It was just much more inaccessible. You pretty much would have had to own a car to live in Union Square. However, with the T stopping in Union Square today, this area is so much easier to get to than it was before. If you're working along the Green Line, perhaps downtown or in the Longwood medical area, Union Square is suddenly a much more viable option for living and gives you an easier commute than you had previously. Okay, so Union Square gives easy access to Boston. Public transit is good. Why else would you want to live in Union Square? Well, first, if you like going out to eat, Union Square is a Boston area gem. Bronwyn is wonderful if you like German food. The ambiance is authentic. Make sure you make a reservation if you're planning to go in October because of Oktoberfest. Juliet is a great spot for brunch or dinner, depending on what you're feeling. If you are going out with a group and can't settle on one spot to eat, you have to check out Bow Market. Bow Market is an outdoor venue with multiple food stalls. There's an empanada place, barbecue, and vegetarian options, among others. Everyone can get whatever food they want and meet in the outdoor area. If it's raining or if you just want to drink, you're allowed to bring your food into Remnant Brewing, which offers great brews and even coffee and ample seating for your group. I've had many a great night at Bow Market, and it's a safe bet if you and your group of friends are having trouble finding a place for a night out. And this is just scratching the surface of what you can find in this area in terms of food. Get on the Green Line for Union Square and check it out for yourself. Union Square also has drinks. Back Bar is right behind Bronwyn, and this is a spot where you can get some tasty and creative cocktails. The Jungle Music Club is also awesome and unique. While it is a bar and a great place to drink, the Jungle is a community music club in the concrete jungle of Boston, which features live performances every night. The club is an old police car garage and is an independent owner-operated venue by and for local artists, fans, and musicians. So be sure to check out the schedule because they have open mic night, karaoke night, and if you want to be the entertainment, you actually have the option to do that. If you're looking for just a general activity in Union Square, you should definitely check out Urban Axes. This is an axe throwing bar. Wait, drinking and throwing axes? Yep, you heard that right. It sounds like a terrible idea on paper, and I'm sure their insurance premiums are through the roof, but the bar goes to incredibly great lengths to make sure you stay safe while drinking and throwing axes at the same time. You're supervised the entire time you're there, and if you screw up one of the safety rules, they will literally yell at you. With safety being the first thing on the mind, this is a suburb getaway from the real world for a few minutes and a solid activity for both groups or a date night. Definitely another reason just to get on the T and go to Union Square, and another example of a place I would not have gone to prior to the T being extended into Somerville. Since it's in Somerville, Union Square is also a part of Somerville's annual Porchfest. Porchfest is a community-driven music and arts festival that takes place in various neighborhoods across Somerville to include Union Square. The concept of Porchfest is to turn residential porches and outdoor spaces into stages for local musicians and artists to showcase their talents. The event is a way to promote local artists, build community connections, and provide an enjoyable and unique cultural experience. So even if you don't live in Somerville, you should definitely check it out while living in Boston. In terms of groceries, Union Square has a market basket, which is good because even though Market Basket can get crazy crowded on the weekends due to its popularity, it does offer better prices compared to other grocery stores in my experience. There's also a Star Market right down Somerville Avenue, which turns into McGrath Highway where Star Market is actually at. I don't know if this area is technically Union Square, but it's definitely accessible for residents of Union Square. One other cool aspect of Union Square is that there are quite a few local specialty supermarkets in the center of the square, and these are a fantastic place to explore if you want to shop somewhere different than a chain supermarket. One other interesting note about living in Union Square: my search for gyms in the area did not yield many results. I don't know why that is. Maybe I was just doing a bad job searching. It appears as though there aren't any big gyms in the immediate area and you would need to leave the neighborhood for a lift. Please let me know in the comments if I'm missing anything in the area. If you do want a gym close to where you live, consider looking for an apartment that has this amenity. I would also say you could buy your own weights, but that would take up a ton of space that you aren't going to be getting this close to the center of Boston. In terms of lifestyle, Union Square is more of a dense neighborhood feel. It's not packed in the middle of the city like a Beacon Hill, North End, West End, or Seaport. It's a bit quieter than those areas, but it's definitely not a suburb with single-family homes, yards, and driveways. Until recently, Union Square heavily consisted of the iconic triple deckers that you would associate with a city like Boston, as well as some single-family homes that were converted into multifamily or always multifamily. However, with the extension of the Green Line to the area, there are some new and modern apartment buildings that are much higher than triple deckers that are popping up all around the Union Square T station. It definitely remains to be seen how these types of apartments will change the area, but the Boston metro area does have a massive housing shortage and significant traffic problems. Hopefully, those living in these buildings will fully utilize the public transit right outside of their door. If you do want modern apartments with heat, AC, laundry and unit, maybe a gym with easy T access, then these types of apartments are what you can work with and what you can live in. If you want more of that Boston charm or likely lower rent, look at the triple deckers in the area. Union Square is sort of more affordable than other parts of Boston closer to city center. With all the development in the area and new access to the Green Line, the area is continuing to grow more expensive. Relative to some parts of Somerville, a bit further out, Somerville is a pricey area, but relative to spots closer to city center in Boston, Somerville is cheaper. So it really just depends on what your commute is going to be, how close you want to live to the center of the city. And that's a great tangent into the average rent into Union Square. I wasn't able to find precise data on average rent in Union Square, so listed are the average rents in Somerville, Massachusetts. Looking at a few apartments in Union Square from apartments.com makes it seem as though this data is fairly accurate. A studio will run you right around $2,300 per month. A one-bedroom apartment will cost you about $2,600 per month. A two-bedroom apartment will cost about $3,100 per month, and a three-bedroom apartment will cost about $3,600 per month. Just to note that rent prices in Boston's metro area can vary wildly based on factors such as time of year. For example, on September 1st, with all of the students moving to Boston, rents tend to be higher than they are if you sign a lease in April when there's not a lot of people moving in the off season in the wintertime or early springtime. So be sure to do your own research as you time your move. So this concludes my brief overview of living in Union Square in Somerville, Massachusetts. Please let me know in the comments if I missed any important aspects of living in Union Square. If you sort of like what you saw in Union Square and maybe wanted to check something out, I highly recommend our video on Inman Square. There's also a playlist with all of the different Boston neighborhoods. I highly encourage you to check those out if you're moving to the area and want to learn more about the city.